I'm Chaz with Board Game Geek here with Aaron from Song Saga, and you are going to be showing us a game also called Song Saga.
That's right, yep. So yeah, I'm Aaron Thompson from Song Saga. So Song Saga is the game that gets people sharing the stories and soundtrack of their lives.
Ooh.
It's a tabletop card-based game for adults.
Okay.
And the play is interesting because you use it with a streaming music platform.
Oh.
So like if you're using Spotify or Apple Music, or you can even play it with YouTube Music or whatever your kind of music platform of choice. If you have a massive vinyl collection, that will work too.
Cool.
But basically, it's a game that you play along with your music library, wherever you hold that.
How does this work?
Yeah, so the way it works is the person with the biggest wallet or the biggest handbag is the band manager, right? And each person gets dealt a bunch of prompt cards. Now the prompt cards are designed to spark a memory of a moment or music that has meaning to you, right? So some examples are like first time you got drunk, right? Your ex, right? Gay bar, right? Breakups, dad. And there's a story. Dad is actually how the game became invented, which if you want to hear that story, I can tell you that. Musician you most like to have sex with, first concert, spring break, weed. We get a lot of Snoop Dogg songs played there. Pre-party warm-up, road trip. So you get the vibe. So these are each designed to kind of spark a memory of a moment that it has meaning to you. And the way the game is played depends on how heavy you want to go into the rules. What we found in our playtesting in Australia, where I'm from, is that most people quickly figure out that this game is not about winning, it's really about the connection to each other.
The experience.
And that bond that comes from surfacing not only the music that you may not have heard of before or heard in a long time, but the new connections that you make to your friends because of the stories that organically come out. Because you're probably not going to tell your gay bar story unless someone prompts you, and this game does that, right? So in America, our playtesting groups always ask, how do you win? So there's a really interesting cultural difference there, I think. So the way you win is if I played a card, let's say I had road trip and I told a story and played a song, and then you played a card and told a story and played a song, and someone else did, let's say there's three of us, we would vote by majority vote whose song and story set was the best. So set is a song and a story. And the card czar, or the band manager as we call it, would then give the winner a You Rock card. Right, so that's what the You Rock card looks like. That's our little trophy. So our You Rock cards are kind of like our version of like the Grammys or the MTV Music Awards, right? So that becomes your point scoring mechanism, and you can decide to play to 5 points, 10 points, or until you run out of You Rock cards. Now, the thing that makes it even more fun, a little more dynamic, is our Gold Award cards. And the Gold Award cards are based on things that have happened at the MTV Music Awards, at the Grammys, or things that we know about famous musicians or our popular artists. So if you tell a story and it starts off good but then gets bad, you might get the Elvis Presley Award for the story that starts off good and ends bad, right? There's also the Macklemore Award. So if you get this card, you can steal someone else's award for yourself. That's based on what happened to him at the Grammy Awards in 2014, right? If you, in the course of play, you reveal a secret, and it's like maybe something you don't want to leave the room, right? You might get the Daft Punk Award, which is the deepest secret revealed because nobody knows who they are. By the way, one of the things that makes that interesting, and I'll share with you now, is there's a couple special cards in the box, and one of them is the Pinky Promise NDA card, and what that basically is a rule that an agreement between all the players that says everything that happens on tour stays on tour, right? So you can feel free sharing your embarrassing stories without fear that your fellow players are going to start talking about it all over the internet. So back to these. Someone gets too drunk, you might give them the Amy Winehouse Award for being too intoxicated. If you play a song that gets everybody up dancing, you get a point for that, right? There's some optional rules, and the dance bonus is one of them. And if you do that, you might get the Beyonce Award for best dance moves. And if you tell a great story that feels like an epic, once in a lifetime kind of event, you might get the Spielberg Award for the story that should be made in a movie. And there's a ton more of those in the box, and there's a ton more prompts in the box.
Let's go back to the prompts for just a minute.
Sure.
Kind of walking through a typical turn here. Let's say, for example, road trip. So does it come out like a card comes out and then everybody selects a song and plays it, and then the band manager votes, casts a vote, or how exactly does a typical round play out?
Yeah, so what you just described is what we call our hit single version, right? So one card comes out, everybody tries to think of a song and a story about road trip. So like for me, that would be this Soca band where that the cassette tape got stuck in the player, and we had to listen to it 14-hour drive from Florida to North Carolina. So, and there's more to that story, but in the effort, because we're on a short timeline, I'll keep it to myself. So that's the hit single. Now, Super Solo is another fast way to play, and that is everybody gets a single card, and they have to tell a song and a story that. The bigger version of how you play is everybody gets at least 3 prompt cards and at least 2 gold award cards, and the gold award cards are awarded from player to player, right? So I have them in my hand and I see you busting a move in your chair because a great song came on, I might give you that Beyonce card, right? And they get handed around. So there's a little bit of tension there in terms of how the gameplay is, because everyone's trying to win the U-Rock cards for the best story and song set, but you can also have other points awarded to you for these things. So yeah, that's the basic gist.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the larger the music library and kind of library of stories available, the better when players come in.
Yeah, we say you don't have to be a music nerd to win, but it helps if you haven't spent your whole life sitting on your mom's couch, right? You need to have live some life adventures for this game to be really, really meaningful to you.
Excellent.
One of the most powerful things that I've seen in playtesting there's been a number of times where people have pulled a card and they think they're completely stumped by it, right? They're like, I got breakups, I can't think of anything, nothing comes to mind. And you go, okay, and they sit with it a minute and they go, well, it kind of makes me think of like the Smiths, right? So they play this depressing Smith song and the first notes come out and they're like, oh, that bitch, she broke my heart, and we were in the middle of dinner and she did it in a restaurant, and that's because music is such a great trigger for memory.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
and so it's just astounding to watch that happen in real time when people are playing the game. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Neat.
and that's where I think for me, that's where the real juice is. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Where is this in terms of its production?
Yeah, so what you're holding is prototype number 2. We actually started with the big box, which everyone here at GAMA said stick with the big box.
Oh.
So for more shelf presence and
makes sense,
more perceived value. So we're going back to the bigger box, but we're really, really close now to final art and getting it ready to bring to market. Our plan to do that is we're landing a bunch of boxes to implement the beginning of a wide seeding campaign to kind of get musicians and celebrities and some of our brand partners involved to help promote the game pre-Kickstarter, which we think will happen in kind of May-June time, with a view towards being ready to take orders in August for Christmas this year.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, excellent. This is I can see how this could be very inducive to an environment of just a lot of great stories and moments that come out of it. So.
It's my favorite thing about the game. And, a very first playtesting group, we played with 10 guys who went to high school together and have known each other for, over a decade. And, one of my favorite comments from that was, I've known you for 10 years and I never knew this about you. Cool. It's just a really amazing way for people to connect with each other.
That's really cool. Well, thank you, Aaron, for bringing this by. And so watch for this on Kickstarter coming around in May, you said?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. And in the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Cheers, Jazz.